All right, we got some parts. My dad went ahead and cleaned all these parts up, which are awesome. Thank you, by the way. And there's a few things I'll have to do to those before I put them on. But here are the old, here's the race. As you can tell, I split it down the center just a little bit to try to get it out. There's the old bearings. I quickly went through the boxes and it looks like we have everything that we need, which is a fantastic deal. Right here is a speedy sleeve. And then we've got a couple of bearings and a seal and all that kind of stuff. Now, the one thing that I have to do is I just quickly ran in town because the speedy sleeve, I need some cold weld or JB weld, either way works, but there's a groove right here that's really deep and it cut into it. So what I need to do is take a razor blade, mix up some of that cold weld or JB weld, and then I'll smear it all the way around and make sure it's nice and smooth so I can fill in that gap, let it cure, and then I'll sand it down, put a little bit of silicone on the speedy sleeve, and then stick it on there so that way there's a nice good clean surface for that new seal. That's what I'm going to try to do there. And then while that is curing, after I get that done, I will start installing some of the bearings onto the hub and getting all of that figured out. So yeah, I got my hands full. There's a few things to do. So the question is, do I use the quick setting JB weld or the regular stuff? The quick setting says 6 minutes. Or we can go 4 to 6 hours. Yeah. Let's do this one. Because we need to get in the field. We need this tractor. I like to use a razor blade. And the reason why I like to do that is so that way I have a nice flat surface to smear the JB weld into. I always keep them in the very back here. Alright, there's my razor blade. Now I just need a piece of cardboard or something to mix that JB weld up. There we go. And then grab a nail or something to mix it. That'll work right there. But before I mix that up, what I need to do is I need to prep the surface where we're going to put the JB weld. Make sure it's perfectly clean before I just get ahead of myself. So a little bit of brake cleaner really cleans it up. Oh yeah, see how nasty that is? That looks pretty good. Now let's grab JB weld. Pretty incredible stuff. Grab the razor blade, grab a light. That's much nicer. Don't like having that big groove there where you just know that the speedy sleeve is going to be pushed back into it if you don't fill it in. I think I'm happy with that. I'll let it sit, let it cure, and I'll sand it down. Alright, now I want to unbox all the bearings and seals to make sure that we have everything in order. Race. All right, now what I need to do here is take that, and I put a bunch of, I had to cut those races out of there. I need to polish that up, blow out all the junk that's in there. And then I need to put those races in that, and that's going to be fun. I think I'll try tapping this one in first and see how it goes, and if not, I'll see if I can put that in the press and use the press to push it in. Because that would be the safest route, but yeah, that's always something. This thing's heavy. this ring wants to expand out. So I cut the old one so that way it can flex inward and it won't get stuck in there. And I'm using this one to beat on the other one. That way I don't damage that other race. But it's kind of a pain to get it in there. It's not really cooperating very well. There we go. Gotta get the old one out. Okay. One done. That looks really good. I am happy with that. All right, now I gotta flip it over. Oh, this thing's heavy. Oh. There we go. All right. Yep, that's heavy. So now I'm using a very nice little tool here. It's pretty much like a glorified heavy-duty rag. I mean, it's hard, but it doesn't chew off metal very well, which is what I want. I don't want to cut down any grooves inside there. I want to polish everything as much as I can polish. And if there's any sharp edges, little burrs sticking up, this thing here really kind of knocks them out of the way. That way, when I put the new one in, I don't hit something and then it gets wedged and then I can't get any further and then I got to try to pound it out. No, you get like a one-time deal to really get it done right. So if you clean your surface, make sure it's prepped good, and then what I'll do is put a little graphite lubricant, just a tiny little bit, smear it with my finger, so that way the race can slide down a little bit, or race, my brain is mixing those two together. The race will be able to just kind of slide down a little bit. Now the thing is, with all that pressure on the bearing and the wheel and hub and everything, it ain't gonna slip inside that cast. It'll seal tight. So I'm not worried about that tiny bit of lubrication. And the thing is, when you got all that gear oil, it's gonna eventually seep behind it. Trust me, because I know. When I took the old ones out, there's oil all the way around the whole inside. So I'm not worried about a little bit of extra lubrication for that thing to slide in, because it is, like I said, one-time deal. Now what did I do with that other one? There it is. Nope, that's the old one. What did I do with it? All right, well, I'll go get another one. All right. You know, I've never done one this big before. I've done truck semi hubs. I've never done Big Bud planetary hub. So this is a first. I talked to my buddy Brian. The guy's cool, by the way. And then I talked to my other friend, my buddy old pal, Dusty. That guy's cool, by the way. They told me some techniques and tricks that they've learned throughout the years, and then also what they've heard from what they used to do back in Big Bud day, like all these tractors. So there's a couple tricks we're gonna try to do to get that preload set correctly on those bearings. Don't be hating me if I do it wrong. Actually, you should, actually. You better. All right, I think that's about as good as it's gonna get. So then, take a little bit of graphite. I mean, any kind of lube will work too, like if you want to have like a silicone based or even just oil would work. But this is kind of a nice thin layer, and the nice thing about it is it doesn't like get really greasy and everything gets slippery when you're working on it. Because when you put oil in there and then you start beating on those pieces and oil's going everywhere, it just makes a mess. This stuff here wipes off pretty good, but yeah, it still has a nice good little lubrication factor on it. All right, let's not screw this one up. You can get this a 50-50 chance. So it's got a tapered edge right here. So that way the bearing can sit inside here with that taper and it can push against that surface. And that's what keeps your wheel from side to side, in and out, doesn't move and so forth. If I put this upside down like this, I'm an idiot. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? Don't do that. Because then you gotta try to pull it out. That'd be a bad day. All right, I need to get the old one. Oh yeah. I felt it. It's tight. Oh, good deal. Now what I'm ready for is the inside bearing. I'll take this. And then I got to put the seal on the outside. And then I'll take a little bit of silicone of some sort and smear it on the outside of this seal that goes to the housing. Even though they got this red stuff on there, I always kind of like to put a little goop on there, just a tiny bit, just to help any seepage. Because once you do this, it's done. Now, these seals, usually you can tell exactly which one's in and which one's out. Sometimes they say on it, other times they don't, like this one. So you can look inside, there's a little spring that goes all the way around, and that helps pull the seal tight against that the speedy sleeve that'll be on there. That needs to go in the oil. So just like that. And then what I'm going to do to try to stop junk from going inside, I'll take a piece of plastic. Might work, might not. I haven't actually tried it, but I started thinking about it. I want to try it. And then I'm going to take the original seal, this one here, and lay it on top. So that this original seal hopefully will stop it from crushing if you ever have any problems of it crushing and damaging the first seal. But before I do that, I'll probably tap it in, make sure it's got a little bit of a start before I start really going for it. And I need, what do we got here? Gasket maker right there. Let's try this stuff. I don't think I'm going to need a piece for it. It's actually going in really well. I like it a lot. I think it's good. There we have it. I like it, I like it, I like it. I like it. There we go. Now I gotta figure out how to put that speedy sleeve on. Gotta find some sandpaper. Sometimes there we go. Oh yeah, it's ready to sand. Good. Then I can polish that up and get it ready for the speed sleeve. I like it. I like it a lot. Go up a little bit more. I didn't have a big enough socket to make that nut work. How I got them off is I used the air chisel and barely chiseled in one corner and spun the one, took the keeper off, spun the other one out. So I started making a socket the other day. I think it'll work. So what I need to do here, weld that on there, and then this, weld that on there. I think it'll work.
Yeah, it's pulled in quite a ways.
So this might seem really crazy, but here's what we're doing. The trick that a guy that used to work at Big Equipment back for Big Bud years ago said he would wrap a string or a chain, well, there's stuff there, wrap a chain around it and have like a weight that is 100 pounds to 110 pounds. If you tighten this all the way up and it holds the 100 pounds, you're good. Just slowly back it off, and once it just starts to rotate, then that's your preload. Isn't that crazy? So these weights came from Nick's gym. Thanks, Nick.
Yeah, I haven't seen them in a while.
I know, they're pretty. And then as far as...
It's only 90 pounds though.
Well, that's actually not bad. I would say, I think we should leave it like that. What do you think?
That's good to me.
All right. I'm happy with that crazy little contraption. So then, now that that nut is tight, oh yeah, I would say that's about 100 pounds. It feels about it. So we'll take the locking nut, or this ring right here. It's got little tabs on it. So as you slide it on, you can bend the tabs over so that back nut doesn't turn. Then you take this nut and you put the next one on, and once that nut's on, then you bend the tabs over it so it locks the two together. So we'll just go ahead and actually, which side was it? Yeah, it was the side. Okay. Here, you want to do it? Because I'm not having success.
Yeah, that's it.
You want to grab the impact and give it some ugga-luggas. Oh, you know what we forgot to do? We forgot to lock that the tab on the first nut.
I was gonna say, because I think it's turning the other one.
Yeah, we got to reset that. Oops, wasn't thinking that through. Slides in pretty easy, so
there it goes. Okay, I got it. Okay, there you go.
We can go back around and tighten those up again.
Now that needs to be lined up with this, or with yeah, I think that one right there. You guys got to get me one of these. Give me another one. I need two. dual wheeled. Do we put anything between these two? Because they always rust out in the center there. Or just leave it. Leave it.
I suppose we'll have to put the jack up again. You might even be able to just lift it straight up. A little bit more. Okay, stop. There you go. Okay. That'll work. Yeah, we're pretty much ready to go.
I might have to go forward.
Now, when you back it out just a tiny bit, Nick, just go straight back so I get the air hose out, and then you can crank it.
Yeah.
It's the tires on the air hose. You ready for some sweating horsepower? It leaks black stuff everywhere when it runs. That's what happens when you get old. Things don't work like they used to. This battery right here, it was dead in the building.
Don't tell me you got a bad battery in there.
It's that one on this side. I mean, I could try to put this jump pack on it. You can try it.